In the previous game, Battler had desperately tried to crush the closed room in Kenzo escaping from his study using various methods. As a result, Kenzo had escaped into the darkness of the night, and it had later been possible to treat him like an elusive phantom. I still fucking love that, by the way. He just jumped out the window and people are like, yeah, that's probably true. It happened. In other words, closed rooms were advantageous to witches and disadvantageous to humans. Witches proposed closed rooms and humans destroyed and denied them. That should have been the standard tactic of this game. And yet Erica had created closed rooms herself and settled a full 11 humans in them. Sealed a full 11 humans in them. In other words, this was the same as abandoning the right to use those 11 people when examining all of the later tricks. It's like they're doing it on purpose. In the past, Battler had confirmed the location of the certain people, but that had been to check whether the certain pieces existed with which he could break closed rooms, a completely different situation. It's like she's trying to eliminate any possibilities of these people committing something, or verifying whether name trick bullshit's being implemented or not. Why had Erica taken those 11 people who were also her pieces and sealed them in a closed room, well, also so she could investigate? Cornelia hadn't experienced enough fights to understand this move, which looked as though they were trapping themselves. Sometimes, gotta pull them. Sacrifice a piece. Sometimes you gotta do that.
攻撃とは限らねえさ。チェスも将棋もそうだろ。キングの守りを固めておくのだって立派な戦略だ。
Damn right it is.
つまりこの2部屋の封印は攻めでなく守りだと。
そう考えるのが妥当だろうぜ。おかげで生存者たちにちょっかいが出しづらくなった。第2の番が実行しにくくなったってわけだ。
ああ、なるほど。魔女側は謎を多く提示した方が有利。
そうだ。何しろ一つでも謎が通れば魔女の勝ちなんだからな。多くの密室を提示した方が有利に戦える。
But it also decreases it at the same time because it limits the possibilities of what could happen. It's a double-edged sword just like the red truth. An effective closed room is impossible to crack, obviously, a true one is. But a poor one limits what it can be. If you make the closed room only able to be sealed with master keys, it limits your culprits only to those who have master keys. Same principle if only one person can lock said door, you just immediately branded that one person as the guilty party. And it really puts you into the spotlight, because someone will start really harping on each individual little detail. The more you restrict the parameters and rules, the tighter the circle, the more scrutiny has to be placed on each little detail. Which was Avatress's issue. She was being way too specific and, narrowing it down so just to almost impossible levels, but it amplifies all of the little things she leaves out and can let you really pick at stuff. The riddles that the witch side sets up are equivalent to attacks. The human side must perfectly intercept all of those. It's almost like a penalty kick face-off, where letting a single point slip by means defeat. So the witch side wants to increase its number of attacks. We are in a fucking overtime. The human side wants to lower the number of attacks. Oh, I welcome all the amount of attacks. I welcome all of them because I'll beat all of them. When Battler had fought on the human side, he hadn't thought of the survivors holding up in a room as being particularly useful. However, from the witch's side's perspective, the strategy was simple but effective. What made Beato incredible was how she had bluffed and sneered at that as though it was helpless. On the inside, she must have been very worried about how to break down all those barricades in each game. Right now, I'm sure of that.
なるほど。事件が発生できないように守りを固めるのも人間側の戦い方なんですね。
No, yeah, of course it is. Obviously.
しかしそれは平凡な一手だ。
Well, I mean, it's a stalling technique, and that's all she needs.
あの名探偵フルドエリカがあれだけ自信満々に強打するほどの一手じゃない。
Because she wants to bait out the culprit. That's what she wants to do. And this is what it is. It's bait. This is bait. Would Erika be happy after playing a defensive move? Though this move looks as though she's restraining herself, it's also extremely unlikely that Erika had played a defensive move, because it's a trap. It is a sacrifice. That's what's going to happen. The next two people to die are sacrifices. And that's where she's going to pounce. So be smart, battler, and don't be stupid.
これはきっと守りじゃなく攻めなんだ。
It's both. I mean, a trap can be a defensive trap, but it also springs on the offensive.
どういう攻撃か理解はできねえがな。
次は私たちの手番ですが、どうしますか？
Don't play to our expectations.
とりあえず表向きは奴は第一の番の推理ではなく第二の番を防ぐための守りに手番を費やした。
Because probably what happens on the second Twilight is going to be important to how she views the first Twilight. If a murder occurs and both rooms are sealed, well, a murder couldn't occur at that point. If both rooms get broken open, then it's really awkward. If one gets broken open and a murder occurs, that's where you get issues and interesting things. Because then you have to look at all the 6 bodies. And if one of them's not there... Ooh, that's awkward. Even though it is in red that at the time of sealing this right now, they are in the rooms. That can change though. So, I wouldn't say completely. Someone can quickly get out of those rooms because they're already in there, no one's watching them.
おさば引け、引かば押せだ。ならこっちは攻めていくしかない。
No.
しかし、どう攻めればいいやら。
Don't fucking do it, Battler.
ゲストハウスはかなりの守りになっています。
そうだな。ゲストハウスの全域が今やエリカの支配下に見える。しかしビショップやナイトのように敵陣に食い込むのを得意とする駒だっていろいろある。
Would that also include names that are not the same name so you can use name bullshit techniques? Come on now. Battler snapped his fingers and a single gold butterfly appeared from the darkness. Then flew in front of the chessboard, trailing gold sparks behind it. It landed without a sound, then transformed into a blank piece representing the witch's darkness.
X-ray. これもチェス用語だったな。
はい、一見敵の支配下に見えるマスが、実際は自分の駒が十分に影響力を効かせていることを見透かして攻撃する高等技法です。
エリカ。
I didn't actually know it had a name. I just thought it was like, yeah, it's just fucking trap. Because it's just a trap, that's all it is. It's not an x-ray or bullshit like that. No, it's just, you've just planned ahead and you're smarter than the other person. Or they can clearly see it because it's obvious. But it's just a trap, that's all it is. It's nothing fancy. You know, it's an x-ray, that's a trap.
生存者をすべて密閉し、次なる俺の攻撃を防げると本気で信じているなら、それは甘い考えだ。
I wouldn't have fucking given her reds though, honestly. Just fuck it. Because you can strike it down later. Because if she comes up, like, say, later saying, oh, this person left the guest house, you can say, no one left the guest house. And absolutely shatter it. Not one of the people you listed off left the guest house. And just, you know, end her reasoning right then and there at the very end. And destroy her whole entire theory. Don't give it to her early so she thinks about it. The longer someone has to think about it, the better the ideas become. Because they just reinforce those ideas. They go through stupid questions and it just harden that idea faster and more effectively the more amount of time they have. But that's because Battler's new to this Game Master stuff, so he's obviously not going to be an expert. I'm not an expert as well, I'm just saying what I'd do. Battler raised his new black piece high. I just copy what Beato does. She knew what she was doing. I'm just gonna copy that and make it better. His target was a single open space deep behind enemy lines. Kill someone in one of those rooms. Oh. Okay. Now, if my theory is correct, you have a Hideyoshi Dai. You have Hideyoshi Dai in that room, who has Kumasawa, Shannon, Nanjo, and someone, whatever. That group. You kill Hideyoshi in that group. And then, with the red, say, Shannon, Kumasawa, not Genji's not in there, Nanjo, and whoever the other one's in there. I fucking need to see. Who's fucking alive? Yeah, it would be Shannon, Kumasawa. Oh, George. Poor George. Poor George, I completely forgot about you. And George. None of them killed him. And you just leave it at that. Leave it at that. Not one person in that room killed him. Leave it at that. And then you just watch her flip out. That's all you gotta do. I mean, that could also probably backfire massively, but it'd be interesting to say the least. Nope, have Shannon and George die. Shannon and George die. Or George, yeah, Shannon and George. And then no one in there committed murder. And like everyone in that room did not commit murder. And no one committed suicide. Have it work out that way. No one remaining in that room committed murder. And there's something else. You just screw around with the names that way. And that's how you do it really deep within enemy lines, while also being inside that room, and make her really focus on that, whilst do stuff behind the scenes as well. Not a surprise. I mean, she had to put seals on the windows on the mansion, so clearly she already went outside once. Yeah, she is. Because the killer's in there, right? How long did it take? How long did it take you to seal those rooms? Actually, I am curious about that, because that has to take a determinate amount of time to seal rooms. I mean, it can't just be like, instantaneous. It has to take some time. Like, is it an hour, 10 minutes, 5 minutes? I mean, I don't know how fast she can scurry up a wall and put tape on windows to make sure it stays there. Because if she doesn't put it on the windows, then someone can open up the windows, let someone out, and then close the windows and lock it. If she hasn't put tape on the windows. So she had to go outside already. So I am curious. I would love to get a time frame. I really would. Just an Erica timeline, because I want to know if someone was able to get out beforehand, or maybe she didn't seal the windows, thus that leaves an open area of someone to get out. Now that Byrne was nowhere in sight, Erica was regaining her high spirits. She wasn't exaggerating when she said she could spread her wings. Delano knew that she was risking her own destruction in this game. And she was not in a favorable position by any means. Delano could do nothing but assist Erica so that she could fight to the best of her abilities.
よし、ゲストハウス1階の戸締まりも完璧ですね。玄関もちゃんとチェーンロックで封じられています。
Okay, how are you gonna get out then? Before leaving the guest house, Erica did a check of the first floor, making sure that nothing was out of place. Then she found a flashlight and umbrella in the servant room next to the entrance.
では参りましょう。
え、まずは6人の死因くらいは確定しなくちゃ。
Yep. She unset the chain, unlocked the door, and opened it. Well, that's fucking useless. Why did you set it? The freezing outside air poured in.
風はだいぶあるようです。
まあ、この体など私にとって肉の売り。
Of course it is.
濡れようが冷えようがどうでもいいことです。行きましょう。
When Erica dropped her gaze to open her umbrella, she noticed something lying on at her feet. Well, how's it going? God damn it. Not again. Oh, not another letter. No.
これはいつもの手紙です。
There was a knock on the door. God damn it. It was one of those letters sent by the witch with the seal of the one-winged eagle on it. I'm having too much fun. It had been wedged under the outside mat in front of the entrance, as though someone had predicted that Erica would eventually leave for the mansion by this way. It was in the shadow of the large eave, so it had avoided the rain entirely. Well, immediately that's going to get struck down by a red truth that was placed there beforehand. It's going to be struck down by saying it was placed there between blah 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 and blah blah blah. It was set there after you sealed the rooms, probably. Goody. Goody, goody, goody.
早速来ましたね。まるで待ち受けていたかのように。
Ooh. Actually would have been a neater trick. Would be the letter taped outside of the door, on the door. Like of one of the guest rooms. Or 2 letters put taped on each of the doors, but it's impossible to get up there. That would have been interesting. But of course, it has to be in some way possible. She bent over and picked it up. She then tore it open recklessly and pulled the letter inside out of it. A message had been written in neat letters.
ようこそフルドエリカ様ですって。
Get fucked.
やれやれ。私を名指しでですか。完全に読まれてますね。
Yeah, it's like it was the witch.
内容は何です？
犯行予告です。いや、事後報告と言うべきですね。後宮バトラの死体をお預かりしたそうです。
Huh. Wonder why that is.
どうぞ探してみてくださいとか言ってます。
I love missing corpses because it's totally like, oh, wow, I wonder why this corpse is missing. It's totally not because it wasn't a real death, so you can't investigate it. Come on now.
第2の晩の寄り添うし2人を引き裂けではないのですか？
No, that's in here too.
まあ、死体が消失する云々はベアとのゲームでも何度かありました。
Yeah.
それほど親身のある話ではありません。
Erica shrugged and scorned the letter. However, this letter was a real attack. All of the survivors were sealed in the rooms on the second floor. Battler placed it there then. I think it's pretty blatantly obvious Battler placed the letter there. And after Kraus and the others had gone around checking doors and windows, Erica had personally made sure that there was nothing at this spot. I remember looking at this spot. So it was an attack saying someone who shouldn't be here placed the letter. That the someone was a witch. That was also an attack that the old Beato had often used. It has to be Battler.
やれやれ。
Well, it doesn't have to be, but it most likely is.
見せ方も同じならトリックまで同じだって言うんじゃないでしょうね。ドラノール、バトラを呼び出してください。
了解です。バトラ卿、東方の手番を所望です。
Go ahead.
了解だ。受けて立つぜ。
申し訳ありません。実は指し手の宣言ではありません。
What? Then get the fuck out. Out.
実は謝罪です。一つ謝らなければならないことがありました。
Damn right you're gonna apologize. Apologize? Battler and Beata's eyes went wide. You're swallowing your pride? What? However, though Erica said that she wanted to apologize, she had a confident look on her face, as though even that apology would be a new move. So Battler glared at her dubiously without letting his guard down.
例の遡っての封印についてですが、実はすでに1箇所封印しておりました。
Fuck off. Fuck off. I sealed Battler's room. Fuck off.
それのご報告が遅くなりましたことをお詫びしたいと思います。
That's such bullshit. Go to hell.
すでに封印していた。つまりお前はもうこれで3部屋分を使い切っていたということか。
Go to fucking hell. Shut up. Oh, I just got this information. I'm just gonna happen to use the seal again. This is what you deserve, Battler. This is what you fucking deserve. This is why you don't give someone retroactive abilities. That no matter what something bad goes wrong or they see that a corpse goes missing. Oh, I actually didn't tell you this, but I put seals on the door even though I didn't actually tell you beforehand. Even though theoretically I'm supposed to tell you beforehand. Because that's how cheating doesn't occur. But you know,
はい、直ちに報告するお約束だったのですが、うっかり失念してここまでゲームを進めてしまいました。
Overruled. Since you didn't report on it immediately, you can't use the seal retroactively. That's actually what I'd do to her and say, fuck off. Get fucked.
心よりお詫びいたします。
No. Smack this smug cunt down.
心より詫びてる顔には全く見えねえぜ。
God, she pisses me off.
まあいいさ。
God, I hate people who do this.
俺が許した権利だ。
And you deserve to get the shit kicked out of you logically when she puts this seal on Battler's room.
それでいつどこを封印していたって？
ドラノール、ご報告申し上げます。エリカ卿による死体検視時にバタラの客室を封印しておりましたことをご報告申し上げます。
Imagine my surprise. Fuck off. Obviously, she's going to cheat. Beato tried not to let it show on her face, but her eyebrows twitched visibly and her gaze flicked over to Battler. Have you ever heard of a poker face?
本来なら5つの密室すべてに封印を施したかったところなのですが、
So I just
回
posed
数が足り
Battler.
ませんでしたので、
Purely by random, right?
ゲームマスターのあなたに敬意を表してバトラさんの死体の部屋だけを封印させてもらいました。
You're such full of shit.
ご丁寧に俺の棺桶の蓋を閉じてくれたわけか。
つい先ほど思い出しましたもので、屋敷に到着し、あなたの死体の客室を調べるときにご報告すればいいかと思っていました。しかしこの手紙の登場で急ぎご報告した方がいいと思いまして。
You know, if it had said any other character was missing a body, you would have reported that.
どうしてそう思うのですか？
Don't fucking buy her bullshit, she's lying.
いいえ、何しろバトラさんは自分の死体の客室が封印されてることを知らずにゲームを進めてたわけですから、それによってひょっとしたら
I thought that's cheating.
この登場した手紙、話が変わってくる可能性もあるかな。
Of course it does.
と、そう、
いとこ部屋と隣部屋を封印中です。事後報告で申し訳ないですが、さらにあなたの死体の客室も封印中です。
It's such fucking bullshit. Go fuck yourself. God, I hate that retroactive bullshit. But Battler deserves it. He deserves it. He deserves to lose. Because this is why you don't give someone who's a bitch retroactive control.
そして島にはエリカ卿を抜いて17人。18人目の存在は過去のゲームですでに否定済みです。
となると手紙を受ける人物とあなたの死体消失、
Can only be Battler.
ひょっとして話も変わってくるかなと思いまして。
Erica laughed crudely while staring into Battler's eyes to see if he was panicked or disturbed. I'd start laughing, honestly, if I was him.
落ち着け。 エリカの報告が遅くなっただけの話だ。何も焦ることなどない。
I said, well, I'm glad you wasted your seal then. If you forgot the chains were on all of those doors. Just say it's something like that and just move on. Just to see if she gets actually, no, they cut the chain, so you can't say that, but whatever. And say, yeah, I don't know, they locked the mansion. Whatever. Have fun. Eric had suspected it since the beginning. It was possible that Battler actually hadn't been killed and was still alive. Anyone could have. And if he was alive, then the letter that had suddenly appeared was easy to explain, even though all of the survivors were sealed up. Judging by Beto's faint agitation, maybe Erica's guess had been right on the mark. Again, she could retroactively just do anything. It does, like this whole thing, oh, I put it on Battler's thing. She could have just said that about any of them. So I find that like her guessing it was Battler's just bullshit. She just waited until it was confirmed that whichever corpse went missing, that's who she's going to say that I put the seal on, because it's retroactive and it doesn't matter. Battler had played dead and somehow missed Erica's examination, and then when everyone had holed up inside the guest house, he'd snuck out of the guest room. Then he had placed a letter, which was about how his own corpse had disappeared in the entrance to the lobby, and hid himself. And if this was the truth, then the seals that had been placed on Battler's guest room at the time of Erica's examination were now very significant. In other words, if they had used this trick, then Battler would have broken the seal when he left his guest room. The trick would not be workable without breaking the seals. Since the survivors were all sealed in the guest house, then if the seals of the guest house were broken, it meant acknowledging that at least one of the victims were actually alive. If Battler had been known about the seals earlier, it was likely that he would have advanced the game in a very different way to avoid this. In other words, it was very likely that an announcement about the seals would have had a large effect on the rest of Battler's game, which is why she didn't say anything. Eric was saying if Battler, playing the part of the corpse, didn't want to break the seals and remained inside the guest room, the plot would not have included this letter. If Battler was actually alive and had placed the letter there, then now that Erica's seals had come into play, there's a chance that he would find a contradiction in his trick somewhere down the line. That sort of contradiction is called a logic error.
ロジックエラー？今回の物語の随分最初の方で聞いた気がするわ。魔女側が犯してはならぬ最大最悪のミス、反則手だ。
You know, like a closed room, but someone still leaving said closed room somehow.
あ、思い出したわ。物語の表裏が合わぬこと、矛盾することとか言ってたわね。
You know, Battler leaving said room, and yet the seals are still all in place.
伏せたカップの中に飴玉が現れる魔法の話を覚えているか。
Yeah, it requires you to close your eyes.
ええ、マリアお姉ちゃんとエリカがそれをめぐって論争したわね。あれはお姉ちゃんが目を閉じている間にカップの中にこっそり飴玉を入れるだけの単純な手品だった。そうだ。その手品の過程を観測していないマリアに結果のみが与えられ、魔法でカップの中に飴玉が現れたとする魔法幻想を受け入れたから魔法が成立した。そうか、ロジックエラーとは
If she was watching the cup and somehow the candy still got in there.
不可能になってしまった手品という意味ね。
Or if the cup was overturned and it's just something's inside of it magically, just somehow appears. If you think about it, the time that Erica and Maria had fought fiercely about this magic with the red and blue truth was really the opening of this tale's fight. Let's try to remember that exchange. The heartless truth was that it all had been a trick. Making the candy appear in the cup by magic had been nothing more than Beato's claim. Magic can only do things that one can accomplish. In other words, one can only have a magical result if it was something that could have been done without magic. Let's be clear. There are two general types of magic. If you summon giants and make towers grow from the ground, but when the lid is taken off, nothing has happened in the rose garden. That's one type of magic. That's just an illusion. A nice, fluffing of a tale. It's a lie with no observers that take place where the witch says it did, in a location without any anti-magic toxin. Magic that doesn't have to match a result is the most simple kind of lie. This is the same as a worthless delusion, an illusion, a daydream. Even Battler saw through it partway through the third game. Then there's another kind which we might call true magic, magic that matches a result. The cup trick is an example of magic that matches a result, since an observer actually checks to see that the cup's contents were empty before the candy appears, and thus an actual observer is gained. I've noticed that unlike the magic of illusions, magic that matches a result must follow one big rule. It has to be fucking possible. The rule is that only the observed process of what you accomplish can be transformed into magic. I can speak even more generally and ruthlessly. In short, all forms of magic are tricks. Obviously. Only things that can be accomplished without magic can match the result. Ironically, this also proves that magic doesn't exist. But out of respect for the witch's game, let's call it making the game solvable and fair for the human player.
つまりカップの中の飴玉が今回はエリカの前に現れた謎の手紙ということになっている。
Basically.
これは手品でなくてはならない。それを兄ちゃんは魔女が魔法で手紙をそこに置いたと主張することで結果を伴う魔法にしようとしている。そうだ。生存者は全員ゲストハウスの密室に封じられている以上、突然に現れたこの手紙は魔女以外に置くことは不可能な不思議な魔法に修飾することができる。しかしそれでもつまりは可能な手品でなくてはならないということだ。
It doesn't have to be a fair trick.